The real estate market is officially shifting. All across the country, we're seeing price reduction, increased days on market, and seller concessions. It's true, but there are certain neighborhoods in the DC metro market where homes are selling for over list price and getting multiple offers. And if you find yourself in one of those situations and you think price is the only thing that gets an offer accepted, think again. In this video, I'm giving away all my secrets. I'm gonna show you the 5 things that you need to do to get your offer accepted in a competitive market. So if you're a buyer who's tired of losing out on homes, or an agent who's looking to sharpen their skills, stick around because I'm gonna give my 5 strategies that I use to get my clients' offer accepted over 6 other competing offers. And at the end, I'm gonna share with you a few creative strategies that most people don't think to use. If you're new here, welcome. If not, welcome back. My name is Daniel Walcott. I'm a realtor, investor, and property manager here in the Washington, D.C. metro area. And I help people just like you build their wealth and real estate portfolios one property at a time. And the first thing that I did to get my client's offer accepted was stay in communication with the listing agent. This may seem obvious, but I can't tell you how many times I've had agents submit offers on my listings without calling or texting me first. Just boom, offer in the inbox. Now, this in and of itself is not going to make or break a deal, but it is good practice. If all the terms for the offer are the best, then the seller's still going to accept the offer. But how are you going to present the best terms if you're not communicating with the listing agent and finding out what's most important to the seller? You don't know if the seller needs a rent back or if they prefer a quick close. You don't know if price is most important or least amount of contingencies. And you don't know if there's any competition. Your offer should look different if there's other offers at play or if you're the only one on the table. Another reason why you would want to communicate with the listing agent is to go to bat for your client. There may be some things about your client, their lender, or their financials that would help put them in a better position, but there's no space on the contract for that type of context. So picking up the phone and calling the agent can be super helpful. Plus, in a competitive market, things change all the time. I can't tell you how many times I've spoken to an agent and they said they're presenting offers as they come in. All of a sudden they get an uptick in activity and now they're setting an offer deadline. You always want to have the latest information to give to your client before you submit an offer. And you can do this by asking the right question. Now, some agents are going to be tight-lipped about the information they give out, and other agents are going to be a little more talkative. Either way, you want to ask open-ended questions that get to the root of the information that you're trying to find out. For example, a lot of the agents will ask, do you have any offers? It's not a bad question, but it doesn't give me the information that I need as a buyer's agent. The conversation will go like this. Hey, I just showed your properties this morning and my client is interested in submitting an offer. I was just wondering, do you have any other offers on the table? And they respond, yes, we do. Great. What information was I able to gather? Pretty much nothing. Instead, you want to ask, how many offers do you currently have? In which they might respond, hey, we have 2 offers in hand and we're expecting 2 more. That's information that I can present to my client to help us move forward strategically with submitting an offer. The other thing is, don't ask that question if the property just came on the market or if it's been on the market for an extended period of time. If the property just came on the market, you want to ask something like, hey, did the seller intend to submit an offer deadline or will they be reviewing offers as they come in? You can also ask, if we submit an offer today, how soon will they be able to make a decision? If the property has been on the market for 2 weeks or longer, you can call and ask, hey, is this property still fully available? I like to ask that question before I go out to show a property because sometimes the seller may have accepted an offer, but the agent hadn't updated the listing on the MLS to reflect that. Let's move on to number 2. The second thing that I did was submit my client's offer early. Now, there's going to be some people who are watching this and having mixed feelings. I will say I've won in multiple offer situations where we were the last offer to come in. To me, it's situational. We submitted early because initially the seller's agent told us that the seller is going to be reviewing offers as they come in. So if that's a scenario you find yourself in, you want to be first because if your terms are strong enough, maybe they'll accept it. They ended up submitting an offer deadline, which worked out in our favor because I was able to follow up with the agent before the deadline. And he let me know based on the other offers that come in, we weren't even in the running. That gave my client and I an opportunity to go back, re-strategize, and submit a much stronger offer. Something that the other parties didn't get a chance to do. There are some buyers and agents out there who don't like to submit early when there's an offer deadline because they feel like the agent is going to shop around their offer to entice other buyers to submit an offer. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. That's out of our control. What I will say though, if you're going to submit early, come aggressive with your terms and consider setting an offer deadline. In this industry, nobody likes to be bullied. And when you set an offer deadline, it can come off as strong arming. So if you are going to do it, be diplomatic about it and make sure your offer is compelling enough for the seller to make a hasty decision. Let's move on to number 3. The third thing I did to help my client beat out those other offers was evaluate the 5 major points of an offer and strategize with her on how we can be most competitive. The first step here is finding out what's most important to the seller. But let's say the seller's agent doesn't give you much. They say, hey, the seller's looking for best price and terms. So let's go through the 5 major points of an offer and see where we can be most competitive. Let's start with the obvious one, which is price. Your offer price is usually limited by 3 things: your budget, your lender's pre-approval, and the neighborhood comps, which you should be reviewing before you submit an offer. In a bidding war, rely on your agent and your lender for guidance, not to tell you what to do, but to help you make an informed decision. If you're considering going 10, 20, or 30K over the asking price, go back to your lender and ask them to draft up a new loan estimate based on that amount. That way you'll clearly see how the new offer affects your monthly payment and out-of-pocket costs. Don't get caught up emotionally that you might be paying X amount over the list price. That number is just a marketing tool that the agent and seller have come up with to get as many eyeballs and offers on the property. What really matters is what that home is worth to you and how it compares to similar homes that have recently sold. The other thing is that when you're in a bidding war, 20 and 30K may sound like a lot, but your monthly mortgage payment is only going to go up 50 or 60 bucks for every $10,000. So keep that in mind. Next up is the home inspection, and here you have a couple options. First, you can do the home inspection with the right to negotiate or the right to cancel. This gives you the most flexibility if something were to come up. You can also go with the right to cancel only. This tells the seller, if you accept my offer, I won't negotiate repairs. I'll either move forward with the property or I'm gonna walk away. That's almost identical to an as-is offer, where you still get an inspection done for your own knowledge, but you agree not to ask for repairs. In rare cases, you can waive the inspection entirely. Now, I only recommend this under certain circumstances. 1, if you've done a pre-offer walkthrough with a contractor. 2, if you're very confident in the property's condition, or if the condition of the property doesn't matter to you. Either you're going to gut the property or tear it down. That's pretty much it. The home inspection contingency is a built-in escape hatch. So one of the best ways to stay competitive is to shorten that contingency window. In our market, 5 to 7 days is standard. I'd even done home inspection contingencies as short as 2 days. The key is to have your home inspector lined up and ready to deliver the report back to you same day. If you commit to reviewing the inspection results and making a decision quickly, your offer gets stronger without giving up the right to inspect the property. The third major point of an offer is the closing date. Now, 30 days is standard, and that's what most sellers expect. But if you can close faster, let's say 14 to 21 days, now you've got a real advantage. Just make sure you're checking with your lender first. You don't want to promise a quick close if your lender can't deliver on them. Also, make sure a quick close actually benefits the seller. Some sellers want to move quickly, but others may need more time to pack, figure out logistics, buy their next home. A faster close only gives you leverage if it solves a problem for them. Next up is contingencies. Besides the home inspection, the other 2 big ones are appraisal and financing. And yes, you can waive them to strengthen your position, but I'll be honest, it's risky and I don't advise it. Waiving your financing contingency tells the seller, I'm buying your home no matter what the bank says. Now, I've done this with my high income clients who have excellent job security and a perfect credit profile, but it's not something that I recommend for most people, because you can still be competitive just by shortening the contingency window. For financing, this is the number of days that your lender has to issue a commitment letter. And once that's in, the contingency is removed. In our market, anything under 20 days is considered strong. Now, waiving the appraisal contingency means that if the home appraises for lower than what you're under contract for, you're responsible for covering the difference in cash. That gets tricky if you've already escalated your price above what the neighborhood comps might support. You can hedge against this risk by doing an appraisal gap instead. This clause states, if the appraisal comes in low, I'll cover the difference up to a certain amount. It's a smart middle ground that allows you to be competitive without putting your entire budget on the line. So in reality, you would want to keep these 2 contingencies in your offer and only waive them if you understand the risks financially and you're prepared to back it up. The 5th and final, and also least important of the 5 major points of an offer, is the earnest money deposit, or the EMD. This is the amount of money that you put up front when your offer is accepted. It's typically 1 to 3% of the purchase price, and it gets applied to your down payment at closing. Most sellers expect some kind of EMD, but it really moves the needle unless you're putting a non-refundable deposit down or you're putting up a large percentage like 10 or 20%. Still, offering a solid EMD adds a layer of professionalism and shows the seller that you're serious. So when you're putting together your offer, look at all 5 of these points and ask yourself, where can I be competitive and what matters most to the seller? The 4th reason I was able to get my client's offer accepted was creativity. This is where strong agents really shine, because when price isn't enough, a creative strategy and a creative offer is going to make all the difference. I'm going to walk you through some of the exact tactics I use to seal the deal for my clients. An escalation clause is a simple but powerful tool. It says, I'm willing to beat any competing offer by a set amount up to a certain limit. Let's say you offer $450K. Your escalation clause will bump that up by $1,000 over the highest offer, but only up to $465,000. It keeps you competitive without overpaying right away, which is obviously helpful in multiple offer situations. Here's a tactic a lot of agents don't use: resubmitting or readjusting your offer right before the deadline. Just like we did, if midweek you find out your offer isn't the strongest, make adjustments if you can. Tighten the timeline, adjust your contingencies, sweeten the terms, then resubmit a cleaner, stronger offer before the seller makes a decision. Appraisal gap coverage. I mentioned it before, but it's worth repeating. Offering to cover an appraisal gap, even partially, gives the seller peace of mind that the deal is not going to fall apart if the bank comes back with a low valuation. Rent back agreement. If the seller needs more time in the home after closing, offer a rent back. This lets them stay in the property for a set amount of time, and you can negotiate whether to charge market rent, a discounted rate, or even offer for free as part of your deal structure. Shortening your contingency windows without waiving them. If you want to be competitive without giving up your protections, shorten your contingency windows. Work with your lender and home inspector to tighten those timelines. It's surprising to me how many agents actually skip this. Pre-offer inspections. Now this is for the big boys. In hot neighborhoods like University Park, Silver Spring, Chevy Chase, Cleveland Park, or even Bethesda, you're likely to come across a situation where your competition has done an inspection on the property before submitting an offer. By doing this, it allows you to waive the inspection contingency with confidence because you already know what you're getting into. Buyer agent commission. Now this one is really talked about, but if you're in a tight margin situation, your agent's commission can be a negotiation tool. Technically, the buyer is responsible for paying their agent's commission, but in our market, it's customary to negotiate for the seller to cover that cost. You can shift a portion of that financial responsibility back to you as part of your offer. As a buyer, you should be budgeting for this just in case, but you want to have that conversation with your agent. Bottom line, every offer doesn't look the same. Creativity wins when price can't. Now, I'm going to close this out with something that every buyer needs to hear. Trust the process. I get it. Sometimes your best offer doesn't win. And sometimes you can do everything right and still walk away empty-handed. But here's what I tell my clients. The market may be competitive, but it's not impossible. Key is to stay patient, stay prepared, and keep making smart, informed offers. The right home is going to come, and when it does, be prepared to move quickly and with confidence. If this was helpful, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more real estate advice that actually works. And if you're looking to relocate or purchase in the DMV area, my information is in the description below. I'd love to connect with you.